session. So let's go. We are now live. Welcome, everybody. We welcome you to this webinar dedicated to data science industrialization. So we are really happy to host you during this kind of funny period. We're in France. We're back from lockdown now, so business is slightly becoming back to normal. And today we'll be talking about a very precious topic for us, at least, being how to put in production models and algorithms, data science models, and more precisely, how to run your scripts, your models, your data analytics algorithms within real IT environments. So Andry will tell you a lot more about this, with the ultimate purpose to get out the maximum value of the data that you generate on a daily basis in your businesses. So today we have a very precious speaker. I'll introduce you our CEO, Ryax Technologies CEO, Andry. He's going to introduce himself a bit later. And he's going to lead you on the path to industrialization of data science. It's going to be a very interesting topic. My name is Julian. I'm a marketing director for Ryax Technologies, and I will take note of your questions all along the session. You can ask them in the chat. We have a little chat on the bottom of the Zoom window that you can ask your questions in. If some questions need the session to be stopped, we will gladly interrupt Andry and ask him to clarify some points. This is an interactive session, so feel free to ask any question you feel you want to be answered. This webinar should be quite short and digestive, so it will be roughly 30 minutes, so that we can have a bit of a topic for discussion at the end of the session. So feel free to ask any question, and we can talk live after the session as well. So Andry, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Julien. Okay, so I'm Andry RAZAFINJATOVO. I'm the CEO of Ryax Tech, and I'm very proud to present today. First of all, we hope that you and your loved ones are well. We know that it's a very complicated period for everyone, so we hope that everything is going well from your side. At the beginning, this topic we don't want it to do this rapidly, but at the end of the day, we think that it's very, very important to focus on why industrialization is very important, and we think that following this economically complicated period, it's even more important to ensure that what you have done in the POC, in the proof of concept, and that have demonstrated the relevance go into production and bring their long-awaited value. So I will share my screen. Oh, Julien, you need to. I cannot share my screen. If you can have a look.
Just a second. Can you try again?
Yes, it works.
Good. We see you.
Okay. You can see me. Okay, great. Okay, so just a quick introduction about Ryax Tech. So here you are the founders and partners of Ryax Tech. We worked at Bull within the HPC department in R&D for more than 10 years. And we focused on how to deal with the resources and the tasks you want to run on the HPC platforms, and how to develop on it. And I'm pretty sure that you know that kind of infrastructure are very complicated. And so we wanted to help people to do it well. And in fact, it's the same thing for Ryax Technologies. You will see that. So the company was created in November 17, and we are now 13 people, and we are based on Lyon, Grenoble, Paris, and Antibes. in France, and it's the fact that we are distributed in the beginning is help us to continue to work well during this period, definitely. So we want to talk about data science and why it's important and why it's important tomorrow. Definitely is because we need it in order to be more competitive, in order to be more performance in our day-to-day work. And nevertheless, we know that it's a very complicated environment and topic, and only 15% of the data science project go in production. So 85% doesn't go in production, and it's a lack of time, money, and at the end of the day, hope, because we spend a lot of time in order to do something, and if we are not able to go into production, it's very difficult for everything. And one of the main topic and one of the main reason for this difficulty is that there is a gap, a very large gap between what we do during the POC phases and what we want to do in the production level. That is to say that pushing the processing chain into production, it's very complicated. And we can see that in HR environment, because we need 4 data engineers to put the algorithm of 1 data scientist into production. That is to say that, and we can see with a lot of jobs from data engineer, it's very, very complicated and we need a lot of people. Okay. And it's definitely the focus of Ryax Tech, and the focus in how to help to simplify and to ensure that data and data science project go into production. So I just wanted to come back on some definition, just to be sure that we speak about the same things. So data science here in the presentation stands for any data treatment of raw data. And that is to say, it can be just simple modification or visualization, and it can be machine learning algorithm too. So it's very large, and it stands for everything that will leads to interpretation of raw data. And when we talked about industrialize, it means using data science project in order to ensure that it will have an impact of the real company activity. That is to say, it works for something, and it works for something that help the company. Okay, if we do a data science project and at the end of the day it is in production, that is to say it runs, but we cannot do anything on with it, it's not industrialization from our side. Okay, and of course we have to fight between 2 environment, 2 kind of people, but industrialization, it's not an obstacle to innovation. We want it to be an accelerator, because if we are able to put in production the data science, we will know rapidly that it's very important and that it will help. So we can continue to invest on data science. It's very important, because the boss and the direction and the business will not see the interest if we are not able to industrialize. Okay. So when we talk about a data science project, and before going deeper in an example, when you have a data science project, the first step in all cases must be the scoping. That is to say, why we are going to do the data science project, and what is the business need. So it can be how to attract more people. It can be how to be faster in what we are going to do, how to develop new services. I don't know, but we in all at all the moment we need to be sure that we have a business need in order to be sure that we can measure at the end the result of what we have done. Okay. And the first step after the expression of the business need is to do the proof of concept. So we all know what is a proof of concept. It's the goal is to demonstrate the feasibility and the business interest of what we want to do, and the main let's say the main KPI of no, not the KPI, but the main thing we have to take care during the proof of concept is we need to keep it short, because we cannot spend years in proof of concept phase just to be to try to be sure that we can do something at the end of the day. So the steps here are to prepare the data sets, to be sure that we have the data we want to process, so to clean it, to complete it, etc., etc., and develop a first treatment module. And we need to keep it simple and short in order to evaluate the limitation of the model, and to be sure that we can understand the cost of putting this in production. Okay, and so to keep it simple, the easiest way is to use the tools you already use, because it will ensure independence, it will ensure to go fast, and it will ensure that it is it fits with your context of the company. So for us, it's very, very, very important that during the proof of concept, you can use whatever you want, and so that's why we are not focusing on that, because we think that it's the best is what you will do and not what we want you to do. And so use your main tools and stay in your habits. Okay, and so of course during this proof of concept, you will have cycles. So you will redo the thing in order to evaluate the limitation of the model, when you can improve, how to be sure that it will help. Okay, and now we will start at the end of the POC. We know that it will work. We know that we have the data. We know that we have the techniques, and now we want to go into production. So you will have several steps after to go to production, and the steps, at each step, we can stop the project. At each step, there can be a problem. Okay, so that's why it's very important. The last phases are very important, because we have a lot of traps and obstacles that we want to face. So the next step is the prototype. During the prototype, so during the proof of concept, you use cold data, you clean yourself, you complete yourself. And so right now, during the prototypes, the main step is to connect to the real data, the real sources, and to be sure that we can imagine that what we have done in the proof of concept can be compliant with your IT system. Okay, and so we are going to do the code modularization. Sorry, we are going to deal with security, authentication, compliance, and stuff like that. Okay, and so we will check that the proof of concept results are still the same in this phase, and that is to say that we can, with the real data, have the result we hope. Okay, and it is the first step because we are on a production machine. We are no more in the development phase. We are no more in the development environment. No, we are a pre-production machine. Okay, and so you are going to rely on the software factory of your company, and you will need definitely the data engineer in order to help you to do that. Okay. And so now you are connected to the sources, you know how to run it. And so it's time to measure. And the first step of the measurement phase is the pilot. That is to say, you are going to run your data science during 1 month, 2 months, I don't know, but during a certain time in order to evaluate and to measure the creation, the value creation you have, you are expecting with your prototype. And no, it's not possible in this step that you will do everything by hand. You need to automate things. You need to automate the data sources retrieval. You need to automate the treatment and all the stuff you have prototyped. And it is the main thing you have to do during the pilots in order to be sure that it will run for 1 month without errors, or if you have errors, it will restart or it will continue, but you need to be sure that you are able to have the 1 month data and the 1 month results in order to say that the pilot is successful. Okay, and of course you need to measure and to observe. You need to observe the result, and you need to observe the infrastructure, and in order to be sure that we can push in production, and you will be able to scale what you have done in the proof of concept. Because of course here you are during the pilot, you are in one case, and after you are going to multiply the case. We will see that in the example just after. And at the end of the pilot, we want to calculate the ROI in order to be sure that it will help the business, and confirm that the way we want to run it, it's robust. Okay. And of course, the last but not the least phase is the production. And so here, the objective is clearly to ensure the sustainability of the project and the ability to continue to improve what we have done. And so here, you need to integrate it into the production environment. For example, the monitoring of the infrastructure, the CI/CD environment. You need to establish performance indicators in order to see if we need to scale or if you need to more resources according to the needs. And here definitely is to ensure that the return of investment of the project is the one we expected, and it's still the one expected, because 1 month later, 2 months later, if we just talk about digital marketing, for example, it will not be the same result. So you need to improve your models. You need to improve your data science during the production phases. Okay, and right now you need a lot of data engineers, a lot of data scientists to interpret and to be integrated in the client software factory itself. Okay, and of course, what we have seen in our customer and prospect is that all data science projects follow this evolution. And at the beginning, when we start, we don't know that we have all the stuff to do to put in production, and that the very important part of this webinar is that you need to take care of the end of the chain. Okay, so in order to illustrate, we pick up a customer case. So for this customer, we met him just after the proof of concept, and the goal was to do some predictive maintenance on a carton folding line. And so the objective for the customer was to be able to limit the downtime of the line. And how they want to do that, they want to predict the failure in order to alert if it is in a short time, or to schedule the maintenance if it is possible between two customers, because it's really expensive to stop the production line, so they want to stop at the right time. Okay, and so they placed some sensors on machines, and they connect to the RP database in order to schedule the maintenance and to alert. I can't go deeper in the kind of sensor because it's their stuff and it's confidential. But the most important thing is that they place sensors on machines. Okay, so we met them at the end of this phase. So they were able to predict the date of the equipment failure thanks to the sensor placed on the machine. So what they have done is that they develop prediction algorithm within MATLAB because they know how to use MATLAB, and so they are performant on that. They export the sensor value into a CSV, and they did some manual correction in order to be sure that it will help for the prediction algorithm, and they run it on the development machine. Okay, so at the end of this proof of concept, and when we met them, they was able to identify changes in the sensor that helps them to predict or to give a failure date. Okay, and it's really answer to what we need just before regarding the proof of concept phase. Okay, and so now they want to push it in production, and so the prototype phase here. So they pick up the predictive maintenance algorithm and they put it in the cloud. Okay, because they don't want to run it in the factory itself, so they put it in the cloud. And the first step was to ensure that we have the rules in order to do the network routing between the factory and the cloud. And we need to develop a module in order to transform automatically and to verify the data, because the sensors give us a lot of information per second, as you can see. And the goal of the first module developed in the prototype phase, was to be sure that we can transform and check the validity of the sensors. Okay, and so at the end of this prototype, we have validated that we can run the predictive maintenance algorithm using the real data and through on-premise to cloud infrastructure. Okay. So we can move to the next phase, that is to say the pilot. So during the pilot, during the prototype, it was let's say an example. So now we are to run it during all the months. Yes, it was a month. and so to measure the quality of the robustness of what we have, what they have developed. And so the developments here for them was to deal with the error recovery, to monitor the sources in order to be sure that you will have enough information and you still have the information in order to run the predictive maintenance algorithm. You need to validate the results, because you cannot just watch all the day that you have the information. So you have to validate that the results you obtain from the predictive maintenance was great. And they needed to develop a temporary storage, because they was not able during a month to send directly the information coming from the sensors to the predictive maintenance algorithm in the cloud, because the impact on the network was so important that they need to store in the factory. Okay, and so at the end of this this pilot phase, they were able to be sure, or to be to be sure of the accuracy of the algorithm. Okay, so in this phase, they was able to say, okay, we know that when we predict that it will fail in a month, it failed in a month. Okay, and so at the end of this phase, the customer want to push it in production because it works, and to deploy it on all the lines. Okay, and so they want to ensure the return on investment and the scalability and the usability of the service. So now we are able to predict, to give a date, but if we come back into the on the definition, the industrialization works only if it has an impact on the day-to-day business. So having a date is not enough for them. They want to schedule the maintenance, and they want to schedule or alert in order to be sure that it will be taking into account on the day-to-day work. Okay, and so at the end of the when we have the date, they developed an impact analysis module in order to pick up the information coming from the ERP planning database in order to alert or schedule the maintenance and push orders to the people that work in the factory in order to do the maintenance. And so for this phase, they needed to connect each machine, and not only one, to scale the workflows, to connect to the customer ERP through the API, and to create the reporting and the alerting modules. Okay. And so, sorry. And so at the end of this phase, the service operates an old machine in order to alert in the event of an emergency and plan the maintenance phases. Okay. And so when we met them, we work with them in order to identify what they need to do during all the phases. Okay, and when we met them, we did a promise, and the promise we did is to automate the execution and the error management, to observe and to evolve for all the data they want to use in this project, to all the treatment they want to develop, to all the infrastructure they want to use. And so, of course, for all the results they are going to obtain. Okay, and so for this use case, what we brought to the customer is the code packaging and containerization, the resume on errors, the multi-infrastructure network management, the auto scaling of the workflows, the connection to data sources, the connection to the RP APIs in order to develop the impact analysis, and the data transfer across the modules they developed, because you need to check all the at the beginning of all the modules that what you have developed is still in good shape. And what they had to do, it's only the data science development and the interpretation of the result, because it's only for it's a deal with the job of their company, and we cannot do that for them. Okay, so how they did it? So as we discussed just before, they work together in order to develop the data science, the proof of concept. They used their own data analytics factory, for example, GitHub, GitLab, or Jupyter Notebooks, and they start working with the platform. So they connect their data analytics factory into the platform. They use predefined modules. For example, in that case, it was the TensorFlow modules, and the connection to the RIP. And they developed very easily the library in order to share the different modules. They create the workflow, and they define, or they detail how it will run automatically, what are the triggers to start the workflows. And after, they will run it directly on the platform and on the complex platform. And at the end, they are able to monitor the infrastructure, the modules, the execution of the workflow directly through the platform. Okay, so it's the simplest way of using Ryax, but we talked about evolution. And so at the end of the day, after having put this workflow on production, they were able to evolve and had new analytics. They were able to scale on several machines and to scale the workflows. They were able to evolve and to move the data science from let's say on-premise, as we have seen in the proof of concept, to the cloud in production, to on-premise to cloud, or to edge to cloud infrastructure. It's very important that during the evolution, you will need to change your infrastructure, but you are not going to change the data science. And so with the platform, they are able to do it very easily. And they are able to test before go live, and to test how to deploy the data science directly from the proof of concept, and to evolve regarding the models or the data they want to use it. And just to give you some hints, we have used Ryax platform in industry context, but even if in environment and mobility, you will see in our blogs and our site a lot of examples. and in different topics like customer and arts, in order to improve the customer relationship and the recommendation on this area. Okay, I think I'm at the end of the webinar.